Hello children, how are you all? Welcome to Lucid Study. This is Pratyusha and today in this session we are going to learn about a chapter called Government Budget and Taxation. Ante Prabhutva Budget Pannulu, which is chapter 11 from your class 9 social studies textbook. So here children, basically in this chapter we are going to learn how this budget is prepared by the government, what all it includes, for what purpose government utilizes this budget, how does it organizes or plans it, what are the various activities that government will do with the help of this budget, and also about taxation. So what is tax, how it is imposed, what are different types of taxes, what are different types of taxes that we are majorly having. So all these aspects we are going to learn in this lesson. Now without any delay, let's quickly get into the objectives and have a look at all the aspects that we are going to cover in this lesson. So first and foremost, we are going to learn about role of the government. So what is the role of government? What does government, what are the various activities that are there on the government's shoulders? What are its various responsibilities, main responsibilities? So government role enti mukyanga ఏ activities lo involve ayi undi? What are the major responsibilities that are to be finished by the government? That we are going to see. About expenditures by the government. So how is this expenditure planned? So for what purpose expenditures are used by the government? So that we are going to learn. About taxes. So what is a tax? The basic definition or meaning we are going to see. About direct taxes. So what are these direct taxes? Again, what are the various features of these direct taxes? That we are going to learn. About indirect taxes. So as I have already told you, there are types of taxes. First one we are going to learn about direct taxes, and then we are even going to learn about indirect taxes. Next, about GST as value added method. So how this GST, it is being utilized as in value added method. What is this concept? That we are going to learn. About impact of GST. So nowadays this word GST, it has become very famous. It is in trend, right? So what is the impact of this GST? That we are going to learn. About fairness in taxation. So in imposing tax to different sections of the people, how is this fairness should be included? How this fairness should be there? How this aspect must be included? Is there any fairness in the present taxes that are being imposed on people? So that we are going to learn. About collection and evasion of taxes. So how are these taxes are being collected from people in different forms, and for what purposes they are being mainly used. So all these concepts we are going to cover in this lesson. Now let's quickly get into the first aspect. So the first one which we are having here is role of government. Ante Prabhutva Patra. So here children, what is the major role of government? Government, it has different types of functions, right? So one of the most important function or traditional functions which we can call of government is that. So what are the major traditional functions of our government? Mukyanga traditional functions enti government we defending the country and maintaining law and order. So these are considered to be traditional functions. Apart from these functions, government has also the responsibility of running schools, colleges, libraries, post office, and also various types of public transport, etc. So all these are also to be maintained, run, and also they have to be maintained, established, and they have to be taken care of by government only. So apart from this, public transport system like roadways and railways, they are also established, they are also run, they are also maintained by government only. And here some of the facilities like public health, sanitation, healthcare centers, hospitals, schools, colleges, all these facilities, they are collectively called as public facilities. So one of the most important aspect of these public facilities is that if they are provided once, that benefit it can be shared among many people. సో ఒకసారి కనుక ఆ ఫెసిలిటీస్ని మనం ప్రొవైడ్ చేస్తే దానివల్ల లాభాలు చాలామంది పంచుకోగలరు. హౌ? Let us take an example. For example, in a village, let us imagine that a government school, it is being established or it is there, it has been developed. So that school, it provides education for many children living in that village and also the surrounding areas, right? So here this public facility, it is being shared among different types of people. And here, how among whom it is being shared? Among various types of children, right? And electricity, if it is being provided to one area, it can also be shared by the people living in the corresponding or the surrounding areas also. And the other example, pump sets which are run by the farmers. So these pump sets, why do these farmers they use it for? To irrigate their fields. So here they are even used by other offices, industries and factories for various other purposes. And students, they even use these to study for their studying purpose and for their researches also. So students వాటిని ఈ రకాలుగా వాడతారు. So in this way, once provided the public facilities, they provide benefits to many number of people. The profits, they can be shared among many number of people. So here, how these public facilities should be? They must be affordable. Everyone must be able to get these public facilities. They must be in a position to afford. అంటే వాళ్ళు డబ్బులు పెట్టి కొనగలిగేలాగా ఉండాలి. Affordable is nothing but they must be in a position to spend, right? So all these facilities, they must be affordable. So this care, it has to be taken by government only. No other can handle this responsibility. ఇది కంప్లీట్గా government responsibility. So it can do this work on its own or it can even set some of the organizations. Government తన ఓన్గా కూడా చేయొచ్చు లేదా with the help of some organizations, government can do this work. And here, apart from providing all these public facilities, what is the other main important role of government? Protection of livelihood. So children, in our previous classes, we have already learned about right to work under Act of MGNREGA, which is Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act. So according to this act, it is the responsibility of the government to provide proper work to the people, proper wages and also the capital that is needed for them. So all these, they have to be provided by government only. And also the regulation of prices in PDS system, we have already learned, right? PDS is nothing but public distribution system. So the regulation of various prices of the products that are being sold under PDS, that regulation of prices is also done by government only. And here, this is all about various works that are being taken up by the government. So in the past, the government, it used to run heavy industries like power generation, refining of petroleum, steel manufacturing, etc. So all these heavy industries government used to run. So it formed a proper base for industrialization. So industries ఎక్కువగా డెవలప్ అవ్వడానికి ఇవి బేస్ అయ్యాయి. So without this, today the concept of industrialization would not have emerged. So ఇవన్నీ లేకపోతే ఈరోజు మనము ఇండస్ట్రియలైజేషన్ అన్న కాన్సెప్ట్ గురించి అసలు మాట్లాడుకోవడానికి అవకాశమే ఉండేది కాదు. So this is all about urban areas. Now let us get into the rural areas. So rural areas lo what is the major work or the activities that are being taken up by government? Government, it helps. So what it does in rural areas, it invests more on the irrigation projects. It tries to extend the agricultural lands in order to help the farmers. And one more thing which government is trying to help to the farmers is that providing fertilizers to with minimum cost. Ante fertilizers crops lo స్ప్రే చేయడానికి ఏవైతే పెస్టిసైడ్స్ అండ్ ఫర్టిలైజర్స్ ఉంటాయో అవి తక్కువ ధరకే రైతులకు అందించేలాగా గవర్నమెంట్ చూస్తుంది. ఇట్ ఈస్ ప్లానింగ్ ఇన్ సచ్ వే. సో హియర్ వాట్ ఫర్ దిస్ పర్పస్ what government is doing here, it is trying to provide some money to the factories to reduce the prices of these fertilizers so that all farmers, they can buy these fertilizers and they can use them in the farming. సో దీనికోసము ఫ్యాక్టరీస్కి కొంత అమౌంట్ అనేది గవర్నమెంట్ ఇస్తుంది. సో దిస్ మనీ దట్ ఈస్ బీయింగ్ ప్రొవైడెడ్ బై ద గవర్నమెంట్ టు ద ఫ్యాక్టరీస్ ఫర్ ఫర్టిలైజర్స్, ఇట్ ఈస్ నోన్ యాజ్ సబ్సిడీ. ఇట్ ఈస్ నోన్ యాజ్ సబ్సిడీ ఫర్ ఫర్టిలైజర్స్. ఎందుకు ఇస్తుంది? అలా ఇస్తే ద ప్రైస్ ఆఫ్ దిస్ ఫర్టిలైజర్స్ it will be decreased and it will be affordable. Everyone can buy these fertilizers and everyone can make use of these fertilizers. And here this is all about subsidy. Apart from this fertilizers, this concept of subsidy, it is also being implied or applied on various other products also, like kerosene, petrol, diesel, etc. So on all other these products also subsidy is being applied. So here, as this process is going on, many debates have started raising up. So people started discussing, is this concept of subsidy, is it really useful? Is it benefiting us? Ane discussion, it has been started and it has spreaded all over the country. And here, out of all this, finally what happens? ఇవన్నీ చేయడానికి గవర్నమెంట్ ఆల్సో ఇట్ రిక్వైర్స్ సమ్ మనీ, రైట్? సో ఇట్ ఈస్ ప్రొవైడింగ్ సబ్సిడీ, ఇట్ ఈస్ మెయింటైనింగ్ ఆల్ పబ్లిక్ ఫెసిలిటీస్, ఆల్ ఇట్ ఈస్ డూయింగ్. సో వేర్ డస్ గవర్నమెంట్ గెట్ ఇన్కమ్ టు పర్ఫార్మ్ ఆల్ దీస్ యాక్టివిటీస్? ఇవన్నీ చేయడానికి ప్రభుత్వానికి డబ్బులు ఎక్కడి నుంచి వస్తాయి? ఇన్ ద ఫార్మ్ ఆఫ్ ట్యాక్సెస్ విచ్ గవర్నమెంట్ కలెక్ట్స్ ఫ్రమ్ అస్. మనం ఎవ్రీ మంత్ ట్యాక్స్ పే చేస్తాం కదా ప్రతిదానికి. So it is the form of revenue to the government. Through this revenue only, government it spends for all its expenses. Various public activities కోసం కావాల్సిన డబ్బులన్నీ కూడా గవర్నమెంట్కి మనం కట్టే ట్యాక్స్ రూపంలోనే వెళ్తాయి. So here what government it does? It prepares a annual budget and it submits this annual budget in the parliament. It is submitted by finance minister. So what does this annual budget consist of? It consists of total expenditure that the government requires in that particular year for performing various public activities. So various public activities, ప్రజలకి కావాల్సిన సౌకర్యాలన్నీ అందించడానికి, to build up to continue various programs for the welfare of the people. How much expenditure do they require? So all this it will be planned and prepared in this annual budget and it will be submitted in the parliament. So in the same way, for every particular state also, state budget will be there. ఒక్కొక్క స్టేట్కి కూడా ఆ స్టేట్కి సంబంధించిన స్టేట్ బడ్జెట్ అనేది ప్రిపేర్ చేస్తారు అండ్ దట్ స్టేట్ బడ్జెట్ ఇట్ విల్ బి సబ్మిటెడ్ ఇన్ ద స్టేట్ అసెంబ్లీ అండ్ దట్ స్టేట్ బడ్జెట్ ఇట్ విల్ బి ప్రెజెంటెడ్ ఇన్ ద స్టేట్ అసెంబ్లీ. సో హియర్ దిస్ ఈస్ ఆల్ అబౌట్ రోల్ ఆఫ్ గవర్నమెంట్. నౌ లెట్స్ సీ ద నెక్స్ట్ వన్. So the next one which we are having here is expenditures by the government. Ante ప్రభుత్వ ఖర్చులు. So how much government is spending, what are the various expenses of government, for what purposes or for what activities is government spending and how much is it spending. Now let us see. So here between the years 2011 to 12, government it has spent 23 lakh crores. So among this 23 lakh crores, so 1/4 of it was spent by government in the Indian economy. The remaining 3/4 part, it was spent by private sectors for various activities like food, clothing, transport, education, health, etc. So for all these different types of activities, the remaining 3/4 it is spent by the private sectors. And here government, what does it do here? Here the remaining 3/4, as we have already discussed, it is spent by the private sectors and also by the business, for people who do business, who run different types of shops, like for their raw materials, for machines, for their equipments, for various types of tools. For the process of production to happen, they require all these, right? And even for the people who are employed in their business, for them also they have to pay salaries, right? So for all these purposes, the 3/4 it is spent by the private sectors. And here if you have a look at this pie chart here, children, it tells us about the various percentages of expenditure spent by the government for different types of purposes. So if you have a look at education here, for education, art and culture, how much what is the percentage of expenditure that is being spent by government? 12%. So this 12% for what all will government utilize? For infrastructure, for buildings, and for the salaries, to give wages to the people who work in these educational institutions. So for all these different kinds of purposes, this amount, this percentage of expenditure will be used by the government. And if you have a look here, defense, administration and pension, these activities, they are not directly involved in the development, but they are very necessary. They are very important activities. And if you have a look at the expenditure percentages of the other activities, ఇక్కడ మనకి interest payments, how much government it is spending for interest payments, to pay interest payments, 17%. Food subsidiary, 3%. Next, others. On others, how much is it spending? 21%. Next, railways, transport and communication, 6%. Fertilizer subsidy, we have already learned, right? So on this fertilizer subsidy, 2%. Next, power, irrigation and flood control. For this, 6%. Next, housing and urban development. How much is it spending? 3%. Next, rural development, 4%. Health and sanitation, 4%. So in this way, for different types of activities, government will spend different types, different percentages of amount. Ante expenditure percentage anedi different activities ki ila different ga untayi. So here, apart from this, government it also pays pension to the people who retired from the government jobs. Ante government jobs chesi retire aina vallu untaru kada, వాళ్ళకి కూడా government it pays pension. So here, apart from this, it has to pay the interest payments. Ante government for performing its various functions, it borrows money from some other source. So for its past borrowings also, government has to pay the interest. దానికి కూడా interest అనేది కట్టుకోవాలి. And here, government it also invests in health and defense depending upon its private policies and also depending upon the voice of the people. Under government, some policies will be there. So it completely functions depending upon such policies only. So depending upon that policies, based on that policies, the health and defense activities, these services will be provided to the people. So here, that's the reason why every year when annual budget is completed, when the preparation of annual budget is completed, all the media people, press, everyone, they will be very much excited. They will be enthusiastic to know the share of percentages, like on what government is spending how much. So to know this, people, they will be very much excited, right? So here, the annual budget, the entire budget, it will be, yes, no doubt it will be prepared by government only. But it even consults, it takes the advices of other groups of people also, like industry groups, farmers, etc. So it takes even the advices of these sections of people also while preparing the budget. And here, what happens? Some groups of people who are representing some sections of people, they will raise their voice. They will try to give their views, their opinions, and they will try to put their disagreements if they are not okay with any of the policies of the government, and they will put it in front of the government. So because of this only, people, they have started demanding the government to spend more amount on health, education and food subsidy. సో వేరే అన్నిటి వాటికంటే కూడా ఈ 3 సర్వీసెస్, ఈ 3 యాక్టివిటీస్ మీద ఎక్కువ అమౌంట్ స్పెండ్ చేయండి అని అడగడం మొదలుపెట్టారు. And here, there should be one person, like, or one form, one source to have a check on government in the matters of budget. So budget preparation అదంతా గవర్నమెంట్ చేస్తుంది కాబట్టి there should be someone to look at it, to look at the government in the matters of budget. So who is doing that? Legislative control. So after preparing the final annual budget, the government, it will submit in the parliament, and the permission or the approval for that budget, it has to be given by parliament only. Here, there will be no tax that are imposed, but if there are any laws that are passed by the government, then according to that law, the tax has to be paid. And here Parliament, it also has to give permission to the government to withdraw money. So government, it has to do different types of activities, right? So for performing those activities, it requires money, right? So this money, for withdrawing this money, the permission, who has to give this permission? Again, the Parliament only. So as per the constitutional requirement, people elected representatives. So we will elect our representatives, we will elect our leaders, right? So this people elected representatives, they will have an important role in budget decision making. So a budget prepare చేసేటప్పుడు decisions తీసుకోవడానికి these people elected representatives, they have an important role to play. They can freely share their opinions and views, and they can give their suggestions also. So hence people elected representatives, they have an important role to play in budget decision making. So this is all about expenditures by the government.